Welcome, beloveds. I'm so excited to be here, and really I am going to make a grand effort to really offer one cacao and oracle reading every month to the collective during these times where we need extra support. We need to receive messages or maybe clarity on messages that we've already received from Spirit. We just want that mirror reflection. We want that confirmation that what we believe, what we've been feeling, what we've been tuning into from our own system and our own knowing, our own heart space. Yeah, that it's true, that it then shows up mirrored in the water, mirrored in reality. So if you want to just start tuning in to your heart space, this is going to be the energy for a cycle of time. We're not gonna give it a limitation. We'll just say that whenever you tune into this, it's relevant for you, for that cycle that's coming up, that you're spiraling through in good serpentine manner. Already chosen the cards, already tuned into the collective energy and the energy of the land here. The energy of sacred Lago Atitlan, which is right outside my window. I can actually see her and feel her. And I'm inviting the energy of Lago Atitlan into this reading. This is what I do. This is the grid work. This is the work. The work with the mirror of the gods. And then funny how for a while now I've called myself a mirror, like a mirror for consciousness, a catalyst for consciousness, because I know that what I share brings things up in others, triggers people's buttons, triggers their mind, triggers their heart, triggers their curiosity. And so with all of my love, let's get into the reading. Let's see. We'll start with this card. It's the dragon card, and it's called Vision. The dragon of vision, contemplating the future. To me, this is a card about planning and making plans. Envisioning things that you want to become material. Envisioning timelines that perhaps you've put off for a while because the world, the circumstances outside of you, the grand scheme in the global earthly realm, you could say the collective agreements, perhaps that's kind of put off your vision for a few years. Perhaps nothing related to the catalyst year of 2020 has been what has put off your visions. Perhaps it's just you and your timing and all of these things that had to happen, all of these unveilings, all of these revelations, all of these layers of the self that needed to be felt, that needed to be experienced, that needed to be understood, but not understood at surface level anymore. We're talking about depth. We're talking about the depth of this lake, the depth of the waters, the depths of our emotions, our waters inside of us. No longer is it a surface level vision, and that means it's not related to ego. It's not the type of vision that can just appear like that. It's the type of vision that all of these different things have to be in place first. You know, everything from your dedication and your devotion to that vision, being clear enough, clean enough, pure enough to receive that vision very, very clearly, very formed, and of a very high caliber, high frequency. You're no longer going to be receiving just a piece of the vision. You're actually going to receive, you're going to contemplate, you're going to bring through the entire vision of your life, of your life's purpose. And for some of you, I'm feeling like it might be such big energy that you're feeling like a surge or a rush of energy in your heart right now. It feels so big that you don't even know if you can do it. You know it's your vision. You're seeing it clearer and clearer. You know how deep it is. You know how much passion it's going to take. You know how much time, how much devotion, how much love it's going to take. But you've already shot that arrow. You've already shot that arrow way, way, way in the past lifetimes even. And that arrow has now landed on its target, on its bullseye of your vision for this lifetime, for how you get to serve, for how you get to show up, for how you get to be the serpent, how you get to be the dragon, how you get to affect the energy of this planet, how you get to slither and weave the story of you, and how that story of you interweaves with other beings, other humans and other non-humans. I feel like it's important to bring up that in a lot of the native traditions, the arrow is not the type of weapon or tool of choice that you waste. It's not the type of weapon or tool that you just shoot and shoot and shoot. You know, like a gun would be a weapon that, you have, 20 rounds to shoot. This is the type of tool that maybe you have 6 arrows. Maybe you have 3 arrows. Maybe you only have 1. And so you have to be very, very clear about what you're aiming for. What are you aiming for? And then once you hit that target, are you willing to do everything that it takes? Every step that it takes to bring that into fruition, to bring that into reality, into manifestation, into action. And so both of these energies, fire and the arrow, feel very much like they're quite masculine, they're quite directed. It isn't the energy of chaos. It isn't the energy of, it's that all-consuming fire and I don't know what's what. No. It's even the fire within a sphere. And yes, there's fire around, but the principal fire and this little heart inside of the fire is within a sphere. And that sphere is you. So the containment of that passion, that fire, that desire, that willingness to act, that willingness to envision is all within you. And therefore, because it has a contained environment, which is you as a human, which is you as the multidimensional being you are, it can actually serve in a really powerful and potent way and not be destructive, not be just a passing storm, not be just a passing chaotic disaster. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe a final message about this fire energy is it's ancestral. The fire energy is ancestral, and that means that you being the sphere here, you know, with the heart guiding inside of the sphere, you know, you have your heart, you have your sphere. Outside of you, you have all of this other energy, these other fiery beings and voices and guides, which are your ancestors. And so the way to really bring in the vision, the way to really, really align with the timing of when to shoot the arrow, has to do with speaking to your ancestors, has to do with lighting a fire for your ancestors, lighting a fire for that arrow so that you receive very, very clear direction, crystal clear like the lake, crystal clear like the mirror of your vision for this life. So let's bring in the energy of the mystical shaman. Here is the energy of careful, calculated, not misguided, not chaotic, not distracted energy. It's about careful, calculated, sacrificial, devotional energy that you are ready to embody. And something that people don't understand about working with the shamanic energy of the land, working with the shamanic energy in our lineage, if you have bloodlines that lead to shamans, if you were a shaman in a past life, and so you have those aspects inside of you, what people don't realize is how powerful an energy that is to tune into, and how powerful it is when you call that into your being and you embody it. You embody a wealth, a library, literally an Akashic field like this lake, Lago Atitlan, an Akashic field of wisdom, of knowledge, and of remembrance, which you can receive from the land, which you can receive, like I said, from lineage or from yourself, from your higher self. You just connect in meditation, you connect in the waking state, but you communicate from your heart, from your little passionate heart space bubble to the higher self, and you say, bring in my shamanic aspects. With humility, I ask to connect to the shamanic aspects, to the shaman within me, because I'm finally ready to accept all of the stages of shamanic living, which a lot of people will never be ready for in this lifetime, which a lot of people do not deserve to embody in this lifetime, even if they were shamans in other lifetimes. So the reason they don't deserve to embody is because they are going to use the gifts for evil and for wrong and for power, prestige, stroke of the ego, but no heart and no giving back and no care for actually the heart space and the heart connection to the planet and the heart connection to each other. So this is where I'm going to bring in the energy of this beautiful card, the Heart Star. So this is from the Crystal Skull Oracle deck, and it's a lot of the energies of these lands. It's a very, very ancient thing that happened during a time when the planet was going through a major shift and knowledge needed to be stored somewhere for people to access later on. Sometimes the knowledge was stored in the shamans, in the guardians, in the protectors of the lands, and sometimes the knowledge was stored in the crystals, the crystal skulls. And so with this heart star energy, I want you to understand that the more you work with your heart center, the more you work with your heart chakra, the more you can actually embody, remember, and be chosen by yourself, but also chosen by your higher self that says, yes, the timing is right. It's the right time to strike, because they've connected to the heart. They're no longer operating from a place that is going to take them on a beautiful, possibly expansive, always expansive journey of learning about the self, but the type of journey that you're going to be very much in the ego, you're going to be very much in the head, you're going to be very much down in the lower chakras about, really into the material, really into outside appearance, but never really, really connecting to your power, to your dragon heart, to your heart flame. And this is where I'm going to bring in the energy of cacao. So obviously my cacao cup is empty. I am participating in Cacao and Oracle, so already the cacao is moving inside of me. It's already gone all in and around my heart. And what she's showing me with every passing day is that the heart space is very underrated still. Very, very, very underappreciated. A lot of people still think it's weak to love. A lot of people still think it's a risk to crack this bad, bad, bad boy or girl open. This space is like, it is a portal. It is a magical, magical portal. But it is also like Pandora's box, or it's also like Alice in Wonderland's realms. What lives in here, what's known here in this space, once you start opening all of the doors, going through all of the different spiraling paths inside of here, is a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, but also a lot of experiences that are ancient and that give us access to every single emotion, including the ones that we don't always like to feel, that we don't always like to vibrate in, that sometimes we like to move through really quickly, like grief and sadness and anger, and I could go on and on. But she knows all of these tones, all of these frequencies, all of these emotions. She knows them so well. She knows them so well, and she offers them to you as visible and visceral experiences so that you can actually rise above, so that you could become more of this shaman energy. And so here's where you got a lot of bird energy. You got the raven skull, and you've got the drum with this beautiful shaman with, he's got eagle headdress, or she's got this eagle headdress, and these wings, these bird wings coming in and out all around. But do you think you can have access to all of this if you don't access all of the storylines, all of the pain, all of the suffering, the challenges, the times where you were misaligned, the times where you weren't in integrity, the times where all you cared about was someone stroking your ego, stroking you somewhere else, pleasure, all of these realms. Like, there were times in all of our collective past, and also your individual and my individual past timelines, where you wanted to do anything but rise above. You didn't want to soar to the places that would show you very, very clearly with a bird's eye view who you were and what was in integrity and what wasn't, and what's working and what's not. And you really wanted to stay at the ground level. You really preferred to just have the reflections of the people around you, the validation of the people around you stroking your ego, calling you a mystical shaman, even though you were more of a, you were more of a trickster. You were more of this energy, like, perhaps you came from a lineage of shamans, but you veered off into your own path. You veered off into your own path that was willing to abandon the principles, the teachings, the true wisdom, and the true organic nature of this archetype. You were willing, you were willing to weave your own web. But it wasn't a web that was in integrity. I'm going to keep using that word because I think more than anything right now, we're being challenged with so much information, so much content to consume, so many people rising up and saying, I am this and I am that. And I know the power of whatever goes after the phrase I am. I know how powerful that is. But what you have to understand is that when you're not working from the heart, it doesn't matter what you say after the I am. It doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it true if you're not connected to this space. And if you cannot see through all of the bullshit that you've told yourself, because you've chosen to be in this frequency or this energy of self-importance. So if you cannot see through your own bullshit, maybe up until this point, you've really taken on a lot of the energies and a lot of the storylines of these powerful healers or these big names or these gurus or these men and women that have big accounts, or just by word of mouth, they're really known. They're great shamans. They wield a lot of power. There's a lot of mysticism around them. There's an appeal. Just because people are working with magic doesn't mean that they're working with good magic. Doesn't mean that they're working with magic that is aligned with your soul, your purpose, your path. People are going to be doing magic left, right, and center in this new earth paradigm. In the decade of the 2020s, people are going to be wielding a lot of power. But this is where I'm going to bring in the energy of the obsidian blade. Because today, and I'm learning now about the Mayan Nahuales a little bit more, the energies of the day that we work with in Mayan tradition, today happens to be the obsidian blade. Obsidian being one of the ancient stones from the Americas that literally was used in everything from ceremony, ritual, also practical, hunting, fighting, protection. Let's bring that energy of the arrow in again, because obsidian was often used to make the blade of the arrow, and not to mention to make the blades of the swords, like the knives, I should say, the obsidian knives, the obsidian weapons and tools that were needed in different eras over here in the Americas and in the Mayan lands. And so today being the energy of the obsidian blade, which is TIJAX. I want you to tune in a little bit to the energy of cutting the bullshit, cutting the stories, cutting the ties, and even the tentacles that are inside of you, that actually connect you like a cord, like an umbilical cord, or yeah, I'm getting these Matrix vibes, you know, the film where they have all of those different holes in their body and they're connected to the system. They're connected to a reality that is not the real reality. I'm sorry to tell you, I'm getting this energy of the cutting, I'm getting this energy of the jaguar and the obsidian blade, and that means there's a lot of truth that you have not made, you've not made peace with it yet. You've not really allowed yourself to see how many leakages you have, how many spaces you've let people plug into you. And those are the gurus, and those are the shamans, and those are the, you know, all of these people that on the outside, they appear to be one thing, but they're not that. They never have been. And whether they will be or not in the future, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. What you have to decide is, are you willing to cut? Are you willing to cut things out of your life? Are you willing to cut the bullshit? Are you willing to get back to this place of authority and sovereignty that is not so connected to all of these outside sources? So I would like to bring in again the energy of this card, the Heart Star. And I want to share with you that the overall message of this card, it says, embrace your multidimensional self and all of your gifts. Embrace your multidimensional self and all of your gifts. This is an energy of a crystalline channel and transmitter, an energy from the Himalayas, you know, from these sacred mountains, from these realms where there isn't so much the need, there isn't so much the desire to look outside of oneself for knowledge, wisdom, remembrance, enlightenment, advancement, evolving, and ascension. Yes, they still have a very strong tradition, I believe, Tibetan Buddhism there, and yeah, probably lots of other threads of not religion, but of spirituality. But I think what's so interesting about the Tibetan lands and the mountains and the Himalaya is how much of what they do is actually alone. How much of the discipline, the devotion, the sacrifice is spent in solitude. I feel that even when they're chanting and praying and gathering in groups, at the end of the day, they are working on their ascension through their system, and they're being witnessed by others who are also doing their own, you know, their own connection and their own ascension practices, but they're not leaning or they're not relying on somebody else to tell them, you know, you are an enlightened being. You are worthy, you are spiritual enough. Each and every one of them in their own way, the way they show up for chanting and prayer and mantra, and the way they offer, the way they walk the land, the way they climb the Himalayas, these monks, the Tibetan people, even foreigners who feel called to come to the lands of Tibet and the Himalaya, feel like at the end of the day, most of them understand that the journey is an inward, solo, spiraling staircase. And there's not too much that they are seeking outside of themselves. A lot of the times in the Western world, We confuse community and wanting to share experience, time, space, learn from other people as our mirrors. We confuse that with needing other people, needing other teachers, needing other, again, validations and sources that we want to plug into in order to expand, evolve, and ascend. And let me tell you right now, you should not be plugging into any other person. You should not be plugging into any other person, not even me. Please understand that the only places you should be plugging in are above, below, and within. So by all means, plug into the planet, plug into the mother energy. Let your cords, let your roots connect to her. Organic root system, not those icky tentacle vibes that I was feeling earlier when I talked about how many other people you're literally bonded and tied to. And usually people don't understand that a lot of times it's not of your own free will. Some of it is, but some of it isn't. To get back to a place where, okay, I remove, I cut, I use the obsidian, I trust that I get back to a neutral, organic beginning. And then from there, you can, like I said, root and plug into the source mother and go up and connect to Father, to infinite source, consciousness, to origin, but nowhere else, guys, nowhere else. We are moving into a time of a lot of darkness. We are moving into a time where the obsidian is going to become one of your biggest allies. It will cut away the fat. It will cut away the falsity. And it will help you see and envision what is possible through your own power, your own sovereignty, your own self-belief, faith in self, trust in yourself, and love. So I'm going to close this reading because it's felt quite heavy, guys. I'm going to be honest. It has felt heavy. It has been a bit of a challenge to deliver this message through my authentic channel and lens, but also not to, not to create more fear in you and not to make you feel wrong for anything that you have done up until this point. That's not what it's about. Even I had had tentacles inside of me. Even I had people that I was plugged into and people were plugged into me. This is about learning how to manage your energy. This is about learning that we're constantly learning. And learning that we're constantly unlearning. And that is empowering, guys. That is how you get to vibrate from sovereignty. At the right moment in your life, you will become the vision. You will become the fire. You will become the shaman. And you'll remember that everything happens from the heart. Everything that is true and real and authentic is plugged into the heart. So I did say earlier that you can plug into 3 places: above, below, and within. And within is right here, guys. So from the bottom of my heart, get your obsidian blade out. I love you guys so much. I will see you very soon. All my love.